I think the real answer is it was an abhorrence at seeing what happened to the land in the 1982-83 drought. We skinned it, I tell you, we skinned it. We had country blowing left and right, and I just couldn't believe the mess we were in, that we took stock on adjustment. We used every blade of grass, every bale of hay, every grain of oats, and we still weren't winning. And I looked at it, wow, if this is the future, we are just not going to make it. So from that day forward, I deemed that we would never ever do that to the land again, and I never have. I'm the fourth generation, and the beauty of it is, of course, it does give you a long period to consider how the land use has been utilised over well over 100 years. And my father's generation slavishly cleared timber. They were encouraged to. They were actually told to get out and clear the country, and you must bring it into production. So along they went, and trees were ring-barked and burned, and you were regarded as quite a forward-thinking person to get in and bring country into production. The 1900s, the very early 1900s, they had almost 10 years of drought, which skinned the Western Division. The Western Division of New South Wales has never regained the stocking capacity it had prior to that. It just cost Australia's grazing industry tens of millions of animals. They just died. They ran out of water. A lot of them ran out of water before they ran out of food. It was a diabolical situation, and I still feel a gut feel of shame and sympathy for what happened to those people. Droughts are an agonising thing. They're agonising because you don't know whether you're into it a tenth of the way, a quarter of the way, halfway. It was an abhorrence at seeing what happened to the land in the 1982-83 drought. From that day forward, I deemed that we would never ever do that to the land again, and I never have. We started planting trees, and we also backed off in our numbers. We pulled our numbers back. We ripped a lot of country to prevent it blowing. We made an active start into landscape restoration probably in the 1990s. I started to think we need to get some trees back into the landscape, so we did some planting. We had just hand planting of tube stock. Fortunately, the industry moved forward, and we were able to get hold of trays of what they call speedlings, which are very small trees, and saltbush, and that was the key that allowed us to start planting saltbush in hundreds of thousands. On Dapo and Clearview and the adjoining property, we planted over 500,000 over a period of a decade, and the upshot of that was that it changed our food resource, it changed our land management, it stopped me having to endlessly cultivate and to crop. The main benefit of it is that it allows you to see a little bit further into the future. You've got a food resource there that is very hardy. It doesn't drop its leaves immediately it turns dry. It has a tremendous benefit from a wind barrier. You can have a howling wind and sit out in that saltbush, and the microclimate factor is extraordinary. It just doesn't let the wind get at the earth. The other thing that really made our industry difficult was terribly low prices for livestock up until recently. It's only the last 4 or 5 years that livestock have regained some kind of real value, and the reality of food production has started to be seen by the industry, and hopefully the people that are in the industry will be able to step forward and manage their affairs well and be responsible for the care of the land and for the care of their families. We love what we do, and we hope we can keep doing it.